All right, the defense may call its next witness, please.
This is so frustrating. This judge is not in control of her courtroom. And she proved it
Go
today.
ahead, sir. You can call your next witness.
I thought I was muted.
You're not muted.
So how long am I supposed to stay in here now?
I'm going to excuse the jury. We'll hopefully have you back shortly. All rise for the jury, please.
Prior to this, she had already done this once before and given him a million chances to start behaving properly and call his witness, and he wouldn't do it. So now they're just messing with the jury. The jury keeps going in and out because Darrell Brooks can't behave himself, and this judge will not pull the trigger on him. She refuses. What she should do is forfeit this. He should forfeit the case, go directly to closing arguments, and be done. He is treating our court system like a joke, and he knows that he's in control because she refuses to pull the trigger. It is so frustrating. This judge has every right
no longer in
to stop this now.
Mr. Brooks, I had the jury leave the courtroom because it appeared to me you wanted to perhaps either ask to come back into the courtroom or make another record of something. Do you want to come back into this courtroom as you call your next witness? You're not muted. You're unmuted.
So what's going on now? Why am I being held in contempt yet again?
The record will reflect that pursuant to Illinois versus Allen, Mr. Brooks was not held in contempt, although that is one of the possible ways for a trial judge to handle a defendant who is stubbornly defiant, disruptive, and contemptuous. That is not the only way in which a judge can address a defendant that is being discourteous, disrespectful, and disruptive. So pursuant to the authority in Illinois versus Allen, I found that you forfeited your right to be present based upon your conduct. I'd also direct the parties to some persuasive authority from other jurisdictions that are more recent, including People versus Cone from the state of Colorado, 160 P. 3rd 366. It's a Colorado Court of Appeals from 2007. And then from the state of Washington, from their Supreme Court, State versus Davis, 461 P. 3rd 1204. That's from 2020. And then I'd remind the parties of the district court decision that was later affirmed from Pennsylvania, U.S. versus Jennings, 855 F. Sup. 1427 from 1994. The finding was, sir, that you forfeited your right to be present based upon your conduct.
Okay, and all those case laws you just cited are pursuant to that.
Sir, I will ask you, would you like to come back into this courtroom as you continue with the calling of witnesses and your next witness?
I thought you was using Illinois versus Allen.
You are welcome to come back into this courtroom, sir.
So why was I removed in the first place then?
I've made my findings. The record will stand. I will ask you one last time. Would you like to come back into this courtroom as you call your next witness?
You're not finna hold me in contempt no more. Not finna do that.
Mr. Brooks is not answering my question directly. So based upon that, I'll advise him that if I will ask one more time and he fails to answer it with a yes or no, I will take that as a no, that he wants to stay in that courtroom.
You can't answer
Mr.
for
Brooks,
me. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Mr. Brooks, I'm advising you that I will. He's interrupting me once again.
She can't.
Okay, you talk, but you're the one
won't.
talking right now, so don't do that.
All she does is
I'm
give him chance
because
after
he's not being
chance.
respectful, and he's just spouting off. So he did not answer my question directly. He is not reclaimed his right to come back into the courtroom because number one, he has not requested it. Number two, he hasn't answered my question about whether he wants to come back in. And number three, he hasn't stated or demonstrated a willingness to conduct himself consistently with the decorum and respect inherent in the concepts of courts and judicial proceedings. I will give him one more opportunity so that it's abundantly clear on this record.
No,
that
she'll
I
give him
am
several
honoring
more
his right to be
opportunities.
present, and I will unmute him.
She
Sir,
keeps
would
threatening.
you like to come back into this courtroom as you call your
Don't-
next witness?
Don't try to seem like you're trying to honor my rights now because you haven't been
Okay,
doing
he
it before.
is, again, not
Don't-
answering the
don't-
question
don't try to
directly.
put on, don't
I'm going to mute him again. As I've noted before, this is a clear method now that Mr. Brooks is employing, that when I have done something that he disagrees with, that he just continues to argue with me and does not answer questions directly. So based upon his continued disruptive behavior, the fact that he will not answer my questions directly, I'll find that he's continuing to forfeit his right to be present in this courtroom. Clearly, the audio and visual technology are working. He's been responding, although not appropriately. He is in that other courtroom. We can see him. He does have the headphones on, and I've confirmed that he can see and hear as well based upon the court personnel that are in the other courtroom. So I'll make another finding that his appearance from the other courtroom is the functional equivalent of him being present in this courtroom. Mr. Brooks, before I unmute you, I am going to advise you, I will ask you to call your next witness. And if I don't get a direct response out of you, I may ask it again. And if you fail to
Again,
give me
another-
a direct response,
another
then
chance.
you will forfeit your right to call any other witnesses. So I'm going to unmute you.
But she won't.
Actually, I need to bring the
She
jury
threatens
back
and
out.
threatens and threatens.
But before I do that, I will unmute you first and ask you which witness you intend to call, so we can at least have that person ready to go and outside the courtroom. Who will be your next witness?
I'm not calling no witness if I gotta be in this other courtroom.
Would you like
Okay.
to come back into this courtroom, sir?
Why was I ever removed? You never answered.
I've
I
made
gotta
a record
answer
of that,
everything.
sir.
I have to answer everything though. Everything you ask me, you expect me to answer. But then when I ask you questions, you never have to answer anything. I just put on the record that two of your bailiffs just made gestures. When I'm looking at them off the reflection of the screen, they're making gestures behind my head that make me feel uncomfortable. I just brought that up on the record. You didn't even address that.
Mr. Brooks, I didn't address it because frankly, you keep interrupting me and then I have to deal with the interruptions and make a record regarding that. So I just saw the captain walk over. I will let security personnel, Captain Dussault, look into that. And if appropriate, he can bring that conduct to my
She just keeps on
attention.
talking to him.
I'd
Keeps on
also
allowing
remind the
it.
defendant that at any time you can also ask to be brought over through the bailiffs who are in that courtroom. So to be abundantly fair to you, I will ask one more time. Would you like to come back over to
Again.
this courtroom?
She said she would only ask him one
should've
time.
never
This
been
is the
removed.
third time.
That's not answering my question, sir.
You haven't answered my question.
The court's not going to answer questions directed at the court by the defendant because they're not relevant or
This judge.
probative at this time, and they're a delay and disruptive tactic.
She has no
Mr.
It's
control.
not a
Brooks.
delay and disruptive tactic.
None.
Is that a judicial determination that you're making?
I'm going to mute you because we're going off on the judicial determinations. Every decision I make, sir, is by definition a judicial determination. It is on the record. If there is a conviction, you can raise whatever issues you want on appeal if you are convicted. But we don't need to have this back and forth every time to further make the record when the record speaks for itself. You were given plenty of opportunities throughout this trial to make offers of proof, to state your legal reasoning for either an objection or for a question that's being asked or for a whole host of other things. But right now, you're not doing anything legally relevant. You're being disruptive.
But she won't do anything about it.
I would like you to be present. That is always what I want during this case. It certainly, I think, is important, but you can forfeit your right to be present by your conduct, which you have done repeatedly throughout this case. I will advise you that if you are in that courtroom, because I have put you there and you have not reclaimed the right to be present by number one, asking, and then expressing a willingness to conduct yourself consistently with the decorum and respect inherent in the concepts of courts and judicial proceedings, you will remain over there. And it looks like he took his headphones off. So I would. Mr. Brooks, I'm advising you that if you fail to call a witness, you will forfeit your right to present any additional witnesses.
She should have done it right then.
And I'm doing this outside the presence of the jury right now for a reason.
But she
I need
didn't.
to know from you right now, you are unmuted. Who is your next witness?
She trying to say something to me? Yeah. What you trying to say?
That was very disrespectful, sir. You chose to take off your headphones. You
Yeah,
choose
because
to
I'm
read.
muted. I'm muted. So why am I gonna have my headphones on and I'm muted?
Well, I would think your headphones help you hear. The
They
muting
do.
is so that I don't have to hear the disruptions.
Okay, well then why should I need to hear what
So
you
let
saying?
me be clear, sir. And
You
you
don't
are
gotta
not.
be clear nothing. I don't gotta listen to you.
This is the
I will
moment.
ask you one last time,
Don't
sir.
ask one more
Who is your
time.
next witness?
Don't ask again. Just forfeit the whole damn thing.
This.
We gotta keep doing this little childish stuff, dude. I gotta sit up here and I'm supposed to abide by every single rule, but don't nobody
This
else
is the
gotta
judge's
do that.
fault.
The record should
Judicial misconduct.
reflect that Mr. Brooks
Repeatedly.
is spouting off, making
I think
unsubstantiated
the record can hear me. I think
allegations
they can hear me.
against this court,
Unless I'm
directly
muted.
attacking the integrity of this court and these proceedings, while yet
This court ain't got no
refusing
integrity.
to answer
This court don't have
simple
no
questions. Mr. Brooks, you
That's
are,
not my name. I told you I don't consent
Just
to being called
forfeit it.
that name.
Do it now.
sir, you are hereby advised this is the last time I will ask this question,
Don't talk
or
to me
you
like
will
that.
forfeit your right to
You
present
can't do
any
that. Show me
She's
where,
additional
show me
witnesses,
where that's law.
because
Show
you
me
are
where
not
that's law.
cooperating with this process.
Show
She
me that
won't.
it's law. That's all I'm asking. Show me that it's lawful law.
Mr. Brooks,
How can I forfeit?
She should
not
be
being
held in
able to
contempt
have
for
a
not doing her
defense?
job.
Are you kidding me?
all I'm asking is that you conduct yourself with dignity, with decorum, and with respect. I will
Okay.
gladly bring you back into this courtroom so you can present your additional witnesses.
You're
But
right.
you need to ask me to come back into this courtroom.
With all due respect, I'm tired of having this back and forth with you every day. It's not my intention to come in here and have these interactions.
The
with you
court
every day.
microphone
It's
is now echoing.
regardless to what you may think, regardless
It's
to
not
how
me,
you
it's
may
them.
feel, that is not my intention. Okay? I simply do what I do because I do not have the understanding. So if I don't understand something, I'm going to ask a question.
Then get a lawyer.
I apologize if it makes you feel
He's
that
full of crap.
I'm intentionally trying to delay the proceedings. If I'm intentionally trying to be disruptive, because that's not the case. And I
Yes,
feel
it is.
very disrespected every
Who
time the
cares?
record is made, making it seem like that's what I'm attempting to do. So of course it's gonna frustrate. Of course it's gonna make me a little bit upset. And I just want you to understand that.
All right, we're going to
It
fast forward
seems
through
to
this
me the
because they fixed the
Really
microphone.
don't.
Mr. Brooks,
And she allows him to come back into the courtroom.
voluntarily and with a full understanding of the disadvantages and advantages of doing so, meaning advantages of having an attorney, the disadvantages of doing it on your own, and you made a deliberate decision to
Your Honor, that's
represent
not fair.
yourself, and that comes at a risk to you of, yes, at times not fully understanding the law, the rules of.
So she should have forfeited this. He should have forfeited his right to call witnesses. But instead, what happens? She comes back after the break and she tells him, I'm going to ask you 3 more times. 3 more times, she says. 3 more times she gives him. And of course, then he knows he's pushed her too far and he goes and he calls his next witness. Well, this is so crazy. I've never seen a judge behave like this. This judge has zero control over her courtroom. Zero control. They let him come back in.
The defense may call its next witness.
Who's here?
So they let him call they let him start calling witnesses because he knows he's gone too far now because she's this close to making him forfeit. But she should have done it. She had 800 opportunities and she did not take any of them. Watching this case is an absolute exercise in frustration and futility. It makes you want to stick a knife in your eye and just to make it end. So I don't recommend watching this trial. I'll just bring you the highlights when I can. And this was a doozy. And so it continues. Darrell Brooks continues to drag the state of Wisconsin through this ridiculous trial where he is on camera plowing down and killing women and children and, people in Waukesha. He is on camera doing it. There is no defense. He will go to prison forever, but we are forced to go through weeks of this nonsense, watching this grown man baby behave like this in a court of law while the judge refuses to stop him. If she's an elected judge, you people in Waukesha should reconsider her judgeship and vote for whoever runs against her because this is insane.